The WWE Hall of Fame will be, as far as we know, should be around SummerSlam now, but we have the final inductee for now that we know of, unless they induct more during the time period of this quarantine, this COVID, this coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. A man that really deserves this. When I think of Japanese wrestling, I think of this man, and I think of people like the Great Moon, and I think of people like Giant Baba, and people, I mean, like even like Kabuki, and even that kind of changed the imagination of what Japanese wrestling could be around that time, um, and just kind of, I wouldn't say more of an escape, but I would say, had more characters, had more people with masks, had more people with things, and did ungodly things that for that time period that are commonplace now, but for the time were revolutionary. And of course, I'm talking about the legendary Jushin Thunder Liger, a man that honestly is probably one of the best as far as Japanese wrestling in general. I would think, at least from a character perspective, at least from someone making a name for themselves, and one of the best of all time. Um, just looking at his legendary career, looking at everything he's done, um, it's very hard to say that he doesn't deserve it, and he really does. Um, it's interesting because a lot of this history is very different if this was somebody else, but with Liger, um, it's interesting just going through his career like briefly. I mean, going from Japan, going to Canada, going to Mexico, going to the United States, eventually WWE, WCW, but a lot of it, and even Ring of Honor, if I think about it, and even TNA when they had their agreement with New Japan, um, to bring us that amazing match between Samoa Joe. Um, and I don't know what to think about that, but just thinking that we saw it in our lifetime is crazy. But just looking at his accomplishments are incredible, and just going through it's crazy. First off, for All Star Wrestling, their world title, world heavy middleweight title, excuse me, twice. For CMLL, their universal title, which I believe was a tournament title at the time, the world middleweight title, and the world tag titles with Tanahashi. For Dragon Gate, they're open the Dragon Gate title, which, if I'm remembering Dragon Gate correctly, this should be the top singles title in Dragon Gate. I'm not sure. To open the Dream Gate title should be, I think. I haven't watched a lot of Dragon Gate as of late, so I might be confused by that. For Jersey L Pro, their light heavyweight title. For Michinoku Pro, the British Commonwealth Junior Heavyweight title twice, and the Super J Cup, not to be confused with the J Crown. For the NWA, their World Junior Heavyweight title twice. For New Japan, and Liger honestly had a lot of his career in New Japan, but kind of bounced around everywhere, more like a freelancer. Um, the Junior Heavyweight title 11 times. The Junior Heavyweight Tag title 6 times with the great Sasuke, El Samurai, Minoru Tanaka, Koji, and I may butcher these, so I apologize, Koji, Kanimoto, Akira, and Tiger Mask. Liger and Tiger Mask, obviously, were synonymous with each other for several years, and eventually with depending on the incarnation of Tiger Mask, but they were always linked together. And the J Crown. Let's go over the J Crown quickly because people are confused by when I say the J Crown. It was a tournament around the time, I want to say 96, around the time where it was literally a tournament of champions. At that time, The J Crown consisted of the British Commonwealth Junior Heavyweight title, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, the NWA World Junior Heavyweight title, the NWA World Welterweight title, the UWA World Junior Light Heavyweight title, the WAR Wrestling Association R Junior Heavyweight title, the WWA World Junior Light Heavyweight Championship, and the WWF Light Heavyweight title. Back when it was still the Junior Heavyweight title, I believe. Yes, it was around the time when it was the Junior Heavyweight. The Junior Heavyweight title, but for this clarification, it was a Light Heavyweight title. But basically the same. It's basically the same title. And I don't think Liger didn't win that tournament. He lost to he lost to Ultimo Dragon, who Dragon obviously had that legendary photo with 10 titles, which was fucking great. Which at that time, also Dragon, just for the record, held the NWA World Middleweight title and the WCW Cruiserweight belt around that time. But just that legendary photo of like 10 belts and Ultimo Dragon was like the standing bearer of like what champions wanted to be around that time. But it was a great idea at the time. I mean, it only lasted maybe a year because, of course, the WWF wanted the original light heavyweight title back, or junior heavyweight title. They keep saying light heavyweight, but it is confusing. But they wanted it back, so kind of broke it all up. It didn't really last a little over a year, which was good for the time, but it was interesting. Of course, with that J Crown, you had the NWA World Welterweight title once, the UWA World Junior Light Heavyweight title, the WWA World Junior Light Heavyweight title, WWF Light Heavyweight, International Junior Heavyweight title for WAR, the top of the best of the Super Juniors in 92, 94, and 2001, the G1 Climax Junior Heavyweight Tag League with El Samurai in 2001, the Nebai Prince Hotel Cup tag title, or tag tournament, with Yuji Nagata in 2001, the Young Lions Cup, which in 86, which kind of tells you how long Liger's actually been doing this, which was kind of their, I want to say their Rookie of the Year tournament, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. The Outstanding Performance Award in 2000, the Best Tag Team Bout in 2003 with Koji Kanemaru against Colorado Suzuki and Marufuji. Excuse me, I can't say his first name. It's hard. It's hard enough for me to say these without butchering these. And the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Title Number One Contendership Tournament in 1990. For Osaka Pro Wrestling, their tag title with Takahiro Murahama. For Pro Wrestling Illustrated, the number 8 ranked wrestler in the world in 2000, PWI 500, ranked number 12 in the PWI Years Edition 2003, and ranked number 47 as far as tag team is concerned with El Samurai. For Pro Wrestling Noah, and just for clarification, the GHC titles are kind of like the IWGP titles, kind of like that governing body of, much like said the NWA has their titles. The IWGP was the governing body of New Japan. Noah, the GHC, or the Global Honored Crown, is for Pro Wrestling Noah, just for clarification. The GHC Junior Heavyweight title, the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team title with Tiger Mask, and the Junior Heavyweight Tag League, I think for NTV, which was was their television deal at the time for NTV, was around their television deal. 2013 with Tiger Mask, yeah. For Revolution Pro Wrestling, the British J Cup in 2017. For Tokyo Sports, the Newcomer Award in 85. And that's the Outstanding Performance Award in 1994. For Vendetta Pro Wrestling, the Vendetta Award, Best Special Guest Star of the Year 2015. I'm not sure about that one, but, is what it is. For WCW, the light heavyweight title, and a lot of people confuse it with the cruiserweight title. It was before the cruiserweight title. and it was amazing matches. When I first saw Liger, it was because tape trading was hard to come by for Japanese stuff. Unless you really looked into it, the first time I saw Liger was in WCW with those amazing matches with Brian Pillman. And he did hold a light heavyweight title once. And I don't think it lasted that long until they rebranded it the Cruiserweight title. Was it? It was 92 and they got rid of it. And then they had the Cruiserweight title, I think, a few years later. I wanna say yes. I'm just not 100% sure. No, it was like, yeah. Or they might have been around the same time. They might have been around the same time. I'm not really sure. The Cruiserweight and the light heavyweight, but the light heavyweight title with Liger, it was great. It was a great series of matches, and I think it even happened with the Cruiserweight title when Nitro. I think one of the first Nitro matches I remember was Liger and Pillman, like I was saying before. It's a great match that I remember seeing. And Liger did hold the, or no, I think they're counting the light heavyweight reigns as well. So technically, he did hold the Cruiserweight title as well, but it's one of those weird things for you. They recognize it, but they don't recognize it. So, oh well. But again, I remember just seeing that and thinking this guy has a lot of potential, and then you actually go and look and to see what he would do around that time. And for WWE, obviously they're Hall of Fame, but he did have an impact in a way, having a match with Tyler Breeze on one of the NXT takeovers, and it kind of makes you think, at least for WWE fans, like, oh, he had one match with Tyler Breeze and he goes in the Hall of Fame. But, he had a much bigger career than that. For Wrestling Association R, their junior heavyweight title with El Samurai, junior heavyweight tag title, in the Super J Cup in 95. For the Wrestling Observer newsletter, the best gimmick in 89, the best high-flying wrestler in 89 to 93, best technical wrestler from 89 to 92, the best wrestling maneuver 1987 to 1998, the Shooting Star Press, which, again, you think about something like the Shooting Star Press is something that's around commonplace nowadays, but, in the 80s, that was still revolutionary. That was still something you didn't see. And very, very interesting around that time. Match of the year 1990 with Naoki Sano in 1990. The most outstanding wrestler for 1992. The Rookie of the Year 84, tied with Tom Zenk, and the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame 99. But again, just looking at the career of Liger, a lot of memories of New Japan for me was with Liger in it. Was with people with like Great Muta, people with Great Sasuke, people with and just people that were around that era. But now you go to New Japan World and you can watch all that. You can relive all that, and you can just see what was great at that time and how he evolved over the time. We would see, I guess, Kishin Liger, was an alter ego of Liger at the time, but we only rarely saw him a few times. And just going over again what he's done in this business, he influenced a lot of what the high flying style is today. It made an impression on a lot of those young flyers that were in the cruiserweight division in WCW. A lot of the high flyers in the what was the light heavyweight division in WWF, and even the cruiserweight division. A lot of those people were inspired by people like Liger, people like Great Muta, people like Greg Sasuke, that did unbelievable things for the time, and even now it would be considered common now, but for the time, again, it was revolutionary. it was something we didn't see. Um, but yeah, a guy that totally deserves it. A guy that totally has earned it. And I feel, you know, once this all Corona thing kind of settles down, we'll be able to travel over there and accept that nomination. Because again, people are kind of stingy about what's going on now, and they're confusing Japan with China and all that shit. But, you know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, though, it's a guy that truly deserves to be in this Hall of Fame. And regardless of him barely being in the WWE at all, even doing that is a huge victory, just to see what the guy could do even in that at that age. Um, I don't really know how to end this honestly, but it's it's hard to think that something like this would happen. But I'm very, very happy that it is.